Hey, I'm sitting out here waiting. Thought I would come on here to give me something to do. I'm almost off work. But the thing that was on my mind was, you got to be careful how you treat people. I'm dealing with an individual. And it's not just this individual. It has been adding up through the week. And the week just got started. But when you're dealing with people that are entitled or think you owe them something, that rubs me the wrong way. Because they don't realize that I don't have to do what I do. When people take you for granted like that, you shouldn't let it happen, because you teach people how to treat you. I had a young man today that has been going through, and I was asked by another individual, because she was in his pockets, to help him take care of some situations because he didn't know how to do it. So I said, okay, going to these places, I knew it was going to be a long length of time. Going to have to be some waiting. But I said, okay, I'm going to go on and take care of it. I don't have nothing to do until really the afternoon anyway, other than some work I had planned on getting done, and I have schoolwork to do. So I thought this would be the best day to get it done. Just go on and get it, knock it out the way. So I picked the individual up, and we go to the first place. Social Security Administration. Line wrapped around the building. Wasn't expecting that one. Tried to get an appointment. The appointment line was so full, they kept saying call her in the middle of the week. So I had to stay there in that line anyway. And I read the sign. The sign said 3 hours long. I'm starting to kick and scream because I'm realizing that I am not in shape for that as I used to be. I used to stay. That's why I hated going government assistance. I hated the welfare line. I hated food stamps. I hated all that kind of stuff, because not only do you do all that waiting and that once a month limited income, then you got to sit there and tell all your grandma and your grandma's business. I got so tired of it. It's been years, praise God. I was just sitting there thanking God, being glad for what he brought me out of, experiencing that. I had to pull on that because 3 hours long, that was a long time. We wrapping around in the building, finally get into the building where it's AC, where it's cool. Still got another snake line to wrap around to even get to a number to get a seat. The whole time, this individual's complaining and treating me like I'm supposed to do this. So I let him know that I'm not getting paid for this. So technically I could drop you off and you can call me when you get to the front of the line. He didn't want to be left by himself. So he kind of straightened up. We get inside. We finally sitting down. That's a whole nother hour and a half. Long story short, I don't like wasting time. My flesh feels like I wasted the whole day doing nothing. Because from the moment I got in my car to drop my son off at work to up until this point, I have not been back at home. I have done nothing as far as work, schoolwork, nothing. My flesh feels like the day is totally wasted. But my spirit says that it was the right thing to do. Sometimes we are caught between two opinions. Naturally, I pray that God always lead me towards what He wants me to do. But there are times that I'm doing it and my heart ain't in it. I don't want to do it. The way that young man was acting, I did not want to be there doing that. I didn't want to be wasting no time. And you know, they always say it's a blessing in it or whatever. No, I don't believe that. Because my heart wasn't in it. And I wanted to shake the dust so bad. Which, in the end, because when we left there, we went over to the welfare office for another long line. Just waiting. I don't like to waste time. And this individual felt he was entitled. So I'm supposed to do this. I'm quiet. I had to keep quiet because I was supposed to go off. But I just kept quiet, praising God for me not having to do that anymore. Thinking, you know, this individual has to put up with this probably for the rest of his life. I only have to put up with it for the few hours that I'm with him. So I'm praising God, giving God all the honor and the glory for bringing me out of that situation. I was able to experience my deliverance today. So we got over, well, let me back up. At Social Security, we were able to find out why his funds was limited and why they weren't supposed to be, what they were supposed to be. Well, come to find out, he got an overpayment because he was somewhere he shouldn't have been, and they felt that they didn't have to pay him while he was there. So we got that taken care of. Got the letter for that. So I guess it wasn't a wasted trip. It just took an awful long time, which, like I say, I could have got so much done. Go over to the welfare office, that line, but we didn't have to wait and sit in no seat. The lady gave me grace because she seen me. I went in there with my badge, and she seen that. She looked on the computer right then and there and said, everything looks like it's supposed to be. You know, maybe the insurance was changed. So long story short, we got the information that we need. And then he gets upset. He lost his phone. He left his phone at the Social Security office. Sends me outside to look in the car for it because, you know, I don't have no key to my car. And I sure wasn't going to give him my purse to go and look for it. So I came back in and I let him know that the phone wasn't in there. So he says, oh no, we got to go back to the Social Security. And he says it in an attitude, an upset way, like this just got to be done. I had to take a pause because he caught the lady's attention as well, the way he was talking and how he raised his voice. And I started to go black. I started to let him know about himself. But I paused and I said, let me go on and do this. I ain't got to worry about this individual no more after today. Because I intended to shake the dust. She told us what we needed to know. Walked out the office. We got to do this. We got to do that. I said, that Cadillac ain't got to do nothing. This is when we outside. I started to put it in perspective. I said, that Cadillac ain't got to do nothing that I don't want it to do. He starts getting quiet and looking around. I get in the car and start going back toward the Social Security office, clean across town. And I told him, because he was acting a fool in the seat, I said, ain't nobody paying for this gas. I ain't got to pay for this gas. I ain't got to do that. Matter of fact, I'm not even getting paid for this. So this is not a win-win situation for me at all. He gets quiet again. Real quiet to see if I won't pull over and just drop his behind off. You know, he throwing temper tantrums and stuff like that. And yeah, there was a couple of times I did think to just pull over and drop him off wherever he wanted to be dropped off. But I said, no, I'm going to fulfill it. So we went on back up there. All that traffic and gas. And he finds his phone. They had somebody, thank God, didn't nobody take it. He comes back in the car with a whole different attitude. Like he want to talk nice and everything now. Talking about he had a few dollars, we go get something to eat. I said, no, I'm going to get you down here to the center and let them know what everything that we found out so that they can take it from that end. And then I'm going to go do what I got to do. This is done. He was quiet because he knew he upset me. And he knew he shouldn't have been talking and acting crazy. But narcissistic. Not that I was looking for an apology anyway. Matter of fact, I wasn't looking for no apology because I wasn't going to backtrack. I'm shaking the dust. I'd have made up my mind about that one. So we driving toward the center, and he's still trying to make small talk. We get to the center. Then he wants to go act like he want to go to the pantry and get some food and stuff. Just wasting my time. Didn't come out with a box. Didn't come out with a loaf of bread. Didn't come out with nothing. I ended up having a person there that I needed to take to a dentist appointment. And I just went on and volunteered to take her. And that made him hurry up or he was going to get left. So on the way, taking him back to where I picked him up at, me and another individual was in the car. And he was acting a fool, you know, like he was entitled, having an attitude. Well, just pull over to the side and let me get out. She knew I wanted to. He talked to me not to do it. But I said, no, I'm going to finish what I started. And he knew that I was done. This individual has cut up so much that I'm the only one that'll deal with him besides one other. And the other individual ain't credentialed to do nothing. So we finally get to the place. And he tries to talk nice, trying to show me how he can just drop me off here and I can go on. I ain't got to go. I can do the cul-de-sac. I ain't got to go all down in. I talk nice, thank you. Goodbye. But I shook the dust. You can't just let people talk to you any old kind of way. You can't let people get used to disrespecting you. Because if you give them a rope, they're going to keep pulling more and more and more. Like, men especially, this one here don't have no respect for women whatsoever. And he just thinks that he's entitled, that women's supposed to do something for him because he in this situation. And he feels like he can give women that thing that they can't do themselves unless they go buy a toy. And he thinks he can get away with murder. Well, I'm not one of those females. So I'm not going to change and turn hoops for no man. I'm going to be who I am. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I basically told him that the day he started putting gas in this Cadillac is the day that maybe I'll listen to him. Because never change for a man, because the flesh is unsatisfied. You could be changing, been there, done that. You could be changing and changing and changing for this man. And like I say, the flesh is never satisfied to the point, and they don't know what they want anyway, to the point where you don't even know who you are anymore, and they going on to the next. So respect is given where respect is due. And I'm not saying you're supposed to go off and go upside the head and nothing like that. I just get quiet and go on about my business. I'm not going to let nobody tell me, do this, change that. Because if he's telling you stuff like that, then that means that he's not pleased with you just the way you are. I got one that in his conversation, I don't think I'm enough. So, and like I say, set in my ways. I'm not going to turn hoops. I'm content with who I am. I like the woman that God created me to be, because I was no joke back in the day. I didn't even like myself back in the day. So I'm content in who I am. I'm just not going to be a doormat. I've been out here doing this by myself with the grace of God for a lot of years. And I'm not going to change just to suit somebody else. Now, if there's somebody for me, God will send them, and they will love every bit about me as I am. Because once you start changing, you'll never stop. And whatever you start doing to get into something, you got to keep doing it to maintain it. And I'm too old to be flipping hoops, turning corners, backflips, cartwheels. I'm too old for all of that. So if they don't like the woman that God created me, then they ain't for me. But I just want to come on here. That's a lesson in everything. Now, had I kept on dealing with that individual, just because, all money ain't good money. Whenever he got his insurance and everything back together, fine and dandy for him. That'd make the company good or whatever. But I ain't got to put up with it. I ain't got to put up with nobody talking to me crazy, disrespecting me. Nobody does. You got to have some self-respect. Don't let nobody dictate life to you but God. Now, granted, I can take constructive criticism. Iron sharpens iron. But when you come at me wanting me to be quiet, be subservient, barefoot, butt naked, and pregnant, can't say nothing, and I've been out here all this time doing the most, something wrong with that. I'm not going to do that. That ain't even going to look right. I got one trying to tame me, telling me that I'm supposed to be married. I got another one that's intimidated with me because I got all these degrees and stuff. It's never perfect. So you got to pick and choose your battles. You got to pick and choose who you want to deal with. Yeah. I get close and even love sometimes. But I always stay focused because I'm content. Like Paul said, I know what it is to be abased, and I know what it is to abound. I'm content. I'm not going to let nobody come in and disrupt my peace, because I'm not going to turn hoops and then not know who I am, and then I got to put up with that for the rest of my life. See, stuff like that will give you a heart attack. Stuff like that stresses you out. Stuff like that will kill you. These entitled people, that's that narcissistic spirit. They want to come in and control, manipulate, and tell you you ain't good enough. You know, God didn't do a good job. That's why I say always, the scripture says a man who finds a wife. That means that woman is a wife before she even gets to that man. Don't let no man come in and try to make you no wife. Only God can do that. He either accepts you as you are or he don't. It ain't like he the only one. When they get to talking about if you gonna do this or if you gonna do that, or acting entitled like I'm supposed to drive my car to take him where he need to go to take care of his business that he can't take care of himself. When they get to acting like that, you gotta let them know they ain't the only one. And I'm content. Wanting and looking for something is two different things. It'd be nice, but that one got to be on the same accord. I'm not going to stop serving my Father for anybody. You got to be self-confident and know what you want. You got to know what you're going to stand for, or you're going to fall for anything. It's time out for letting these men make all the decision for you. Now, granted, you mess around there and marry him, then that's on you. Because, yeah, you supposed to submit and all of that. But see, the thing with that is you got to know what you submitting to. I don't have no problem submitting. The thing is you got to know how low you going to want to go. So however low you go, that's where you got to submit to. I'm going to submit to a man I can look up to. If I can't look up to him, I'm not going to submit. I'm not going to bend and try to fit a square into a circle hole. I'm just not. I'm not going to be bent out of shape, trying to refabricate myself as old as I am, when God can send me somebody that accepts me for who I am. Anyway, I just want to get on here. There's so many women out here I see that's trying to fit their life into a man's category. And they living with all this hurt on the inside. We was talking about the spirit of offense. I know grown women that's been hurt by men and they ain't ever forgot. And they've been carrying that hurt with them for years. And that hurt is dragging them clean to hell. Because if you can't forget, you can't forgive. They just bitter. People don't want to be around them because everything that come out their mouth is negative, or they pessimistic, or it's no. They're stubborn. They're like Naomi in the Bible. All the men around her died and she was just miserable. Don't nobody want to be hanging around misery. Don't nobody want to sit and talk with misery. Don't nobody want to hear all that. People are sitting up, holding on to all these grudges, and they dealing with their health issues because you can't hold all that stuff on the inside of you and then not tear your body up. Tear your internal organs up. Love flows. Love is free. You holding on to all that negativity, that demonic, it causes ulcers. All kind of ailments go on the inside of your body. You can't hold on to all that negative stuff, that negative turmoil, that foul spirit. You got to let it go. You got to forgive. Forgive frees you. Forgiveness, it comes to free you, not the other person. Free yourself. Women be scorned. They sit up by themselves. I know I've been there too. Now I sit up by myself content because I'm not going to just let anybody come and tell me what to do. If we can't compromise, if we can't negotiate, then we can't. I've been serving my Father for all these years, and I've been doing just fine. For somebody to come and tell me or dictate to me, I don't think nothing wrong with my Father. So I just want to come on here today and tell some people, you got to get rid of some toxic relationships. All money ain't good money. If you got somebody always entitled or talking down to you and you ain't good enough, let them go. I'm going to get off of here. Got to get back to work. I'll talk to you later. Stay blessed.